That one is never story, sir. It's not breaking news. Oh. Results of the 2024 Unified Tertiary Matriculation Examination (UTME) conducted by the Joint Admissions and Matriculations Board (JAMB) recently released have been received with mixed feelings and equally stirred up discussions in various quarters, given the rate of massive failures recorded. Now, looking at the statistics, a total of 1,989,668 candidates registered for the examinations, which was 24.7% higher than the figure of the previous year. Out of that number, 1,904,189 candidates were present and verified, while 2,899 were present but unverified, and 80,810 completely absent. Shockingly, 76% scored below 200, while 8,401 candidates, which is equivalent to 0.5%, scored 300 and above. 77,070 candidates, which is 4.2%, scored 250 and above, while 439,974 candidates, which is 24%, scored 200 and above. Now, a total of 1,402,490 candidates, which is 76%, scored below 200. But the question is, what went wrong? At what point did we miss it? Or who or what is responsible for this colossal failure? And how do we reverse this ugly and disturbing trend? Hopefully our guest today will give us insights and answers to all of these questions. Welcome to Nigeria Today. I am your carrier, Clinton. No one is in a better position to clear our thoughts on the issues at hand more than our guest today, who also happens to be JAMB's Head of Public Affairs, Fabian Benjamin. You're welcome to Nigeria.
Thank you very much.
It's good to have you again.
It's my pleasure.
The performance of the students in 2024 UTME. Give us your thought. What is your thought?
Well, you started by talking about fail, pass kind of thing. Our exam is not a fail, pass examination. It's a selection examination. And the person that passed the exam is the person that is selected, not the person that wrote and scored whatever it is. What I mean by that is that if by the final analysis you're not admitted, you cannot be said to have either pass or fail. Selection it depends on so many variables, the program you want to read, the school you have picked as your choice, and all those things. It's possible that somebody with 300 may not be admitted and somebody with 250 may be admitted for the same program but in different institutions. So there are so many things that come to play that determine who eventually is successful. So it's not a fail pass examination, it's a selection examination depending on where the candidate is going or what program he is going for. But when you look at the performance in terms of marks that somebody has scored, this year certainly is better than what we had last year. Because if you look at the statistics you just read, you will discover that those that scored 300 and above this year, there are about 8,401. They compared to last year, that they were about just 5,800 or thereabout. And then if you look at those that scored 215 and above this year, they are over 77,000 compared to last year of just 56,000. So by and large, what we have this year is better than the performance of last year.
But what we had last year, the number of people that that registered for the exam was lower than what we have this year.
Yes, on comparative terms, they are lower. But if you look at the statistic difference, it's not something to really. If you look at the gap of the percentage of the performance, you'll see that it covers whatever difference that you have in terms of registration. So this year, somehow, at least, we have a bit better performance than what is there. But if your child eventually maybe didn't score well, for you, this year's performance is not good. Until you have the global picture, you won't understand what the performance is. You must compare globally the totality of the performance vis-a-vis what happened last year for you to have an informed position.
Now, okay, having said that, according to JAMB, we have about 64,624 results under investigation. Can you talk to us more about that?
Yes, there are some of them that we are looking at them for center-related issues. There are some of them for verification-related issues. Some candidates that claim that they went for the examination and they were unable to be verified. You know, we've put necessary technology on ground. We've invested heavily in buying some of this equipment to ensure that we reduced the number of unverified candidates. So in any examination anywhere globally, once you present yourself for assessment, for screening, and you are unable to verify, the first thing that comes to the mind of such an organization is that this candidate could be an impersonator and stuff like that. So we are looking at all those things. But we have 78 candidates that are clearly established cases of examination misconduct. Those ones are set aside. But these 64 will further screen them based on the category I've just mentioned. And I will look at them. Eventually, maybe some of them, if for benefit of doubt and all these things, maybe they will be given an opportunity again. And then others will fall into other categories and stuff like that. So we are looking at those ones.
So these results under investigation, I want to believe that the candidates for these that owns this result, they are yet to get their result, right?
No, they won't have result. This 64,000 won't have result until we look at them.
Okay.
And then if you look at them, if there are cases of clear prima facie cases of exam malpractice, misconduct, they could fall into the 78 candidates and so like that. And if there are instances where they require them to be rescheduled to take the exam again, why not?
Okay, in other words, after the investigation, those that are cleared will get their results.
Yes, those that are cleared will get their results.
Okay. So in other words, they have the information that their results are pending and they have all these information.
Once you check,
yes,
we have released results. We released results yesterday and candidates started checking this morning. Once you check, you have an information. If you fall under this category, you will have a response that will tell you that, okay, this is where you belong. If it is alleged misconduct, you'll be informed. Okay. Alleged in the sense that we are still investigating. If it is an issue of verification, you'll be informed and then you know where you rightly belongs to. Okay,
would they be like, would they have the opportunity of defending themselves in one way or the other?
Yes, why not? You know, with recent happenings now, if for for instance, if your case we have established that yes, there are evidence of misconduct, will you be invited and then for you to defend yourself? You cannot conclude any issue of misconduct until you give the candidate the opportunity for him to defend himself. Because and then you present him with those facts and
yes, we're in the era of information, so they should get information and know exactly.
Yes, we invite them. In fact, even last year we did some. We invited them, and some of them that could not come, we gave them the opportunity of appearing virtually, and we discussed with them, presented our facts to them, and then they admitted that yes, something of such happened and stuff like that. So, the law says that you must give the person the opportunity for him to defend himself. So we're doing that.
So at the moment, there's no rescheduling so far, just like we had last year, for now?
Until we conclude these 64,000 cases. There are candidates that are claiming that they were unable to be verified. Some of them say they were verified and stuff, but they could not sit for the examination due to 1 or 2 challenges and stuff like that. So we are looking at it. But when you look at out of 1,900,000 and something candidates, and you are having just 64,000 cases, I think it's fair enough that we've done pretty well, that at least we can go to bed and sleep. But because government has given us a responsibility, and we must not shy away from it, we must ensure that at least we live up to expectation. That is why we'll do everything humanly possible. We are also not sleeping. Even today, we're in the office, working round the clock to ensure that, yes, every candidate that indicated his interest to sit for this examination is actually giving the services that he desires.
Okay, now I want to talk about the directive that JAMB gave, that no parent should be seen around the area of the examination. Do you think that paid off?
Yes, and if you follow the text of the registrar yesterday, he took a particular portion of it to appreciate the parent for adhering to that instruction. You see, we are also parents. At times, people tend to look at us as if we just came from the moon and we are not involved in what is happening. We have children, we have relatives who are also sitting for this examination. But if you are from our own side, if you belongs to, or you have the benefit of hindsight to see what we are seeing, you even do worse than that. Because some intruders, some examination takers and all manner of characters pretend to be parents and all these things, and because of that kind of chaotic situation, if it is not controlled, they begin to manifest in so many ways and all those things. And some of these parents also are people that sponsor some of these examination infractions. So when you don't take this kind of proactive measure, it will be difficult for you to control, to be in charge of your examination. If you had gone around this year, you will see how serene, how peaceful the examination was. Even the candidate could attest to that yes, we had a very smooth exercise. I bet you would have been hearing of complaint here and there and stuff like that. But when they stay off the vicinity, the premises of the examination centers, at least the candidate had a very good atmosphere for them to see the examination. And I think in the final analysis, what we're doing is for the benefit of the candidate and not even the board.
Okay, before we go on a short break, I understand that this result was released like a few days later than what we had last year. So no, why is that delay?
We have capacity to release results immediately after the candidate submits his examination. We have that capacity. The CBT architecture design, the way it is designed, has the capacity for the candidate to have his result immediately he pressed submit button. But because of certain obvious reasons, one, when we started CBT in 2015, we were releasing results instantly. But some candidate, once the candidate sees that his performance is not what he's expecting, some of them will begin to, vandalize, that kind of a thing and stuff like that. And then beside that, we've put a lot of technology to monitor this exam. It will be, you will not reap the benefit of what you have done if you don't sit down to go through them, to look at them. At each center, we have CCTV camera that will monitor real time what is happening in those particular centers. And we have a technology that monitor even the system that this candidate sits this examination on. So it is only necessary for us, after the whole exercise, to sit down and look at what, we don't want a situation whereby you release result, then you want to withdraw the result again and stuff like that. So we'll go through all these processes. Otherwise, we can release result even immediately candidates submit their responses.
All right, you're still watching Nigeria Today. We're taking a short break now and feel the pulse of Nigerians on the issue of the release of the 2024 UTME results. Don't go away.
One, teachers training. Most of the teachers that they employ to teach in the secondary school, some of them actually has the result NCE and above. But we came to a realization that some of the teachers are not much qualified.
Okay, I would say that WAEC, because of it's more like what they did in secondary school, so they are writing exam on it and all that. But when it comes to JAMB, and you have to choose your 4 courses depending on the course you want to study. So, and it's like they're entering university, so they're trying to test their brain if the course they want to study is best fit for them.
Parents give
don't encourage their children to read. Children spend more time on social media, and this is really affecting the reading culture in Nigeria.
They always think of other things of doing, or they go around looking for how to make girlfriend and boyfriends. They don't focus on their book. That's why people fail JAMB.
So there may be factors on the ground. Number one is timing, because I remember the year my son took exams, they kept a particular time where the exam supposed to start. But by the time we got there were a lot of issues on the ground. They said the ICT, this and that was not put in place and all that. So we had to wait and wait. By the time the children got into the exam center, they were already tired and frustrated. And so
because they're more interested in boys, they're more interested in all these bad things. They're not focused on exam and practice.
Welcome back. This is still Nigeria Today, and we're looking at the 2024 UTME results. And of course, I have here with me the head of public affairs of JAMB, Fabian Benjamin, in the studio. Now, you had the reaction of the people there. Quite a lot of people had a lot of things to say. Yes. Why people will score low in their JAMB. Somebody mentioned the ICT issues. This year, did we have any such issues? You know. Well,
it is practically impossible for you to examine candidates in about 777 centers and you won't have any issue at all. If I tell you that we don't have any issue, I think even you yourself will not believe me. You will certainly have one or two issues here and there. But the most important thing is that the question is that how prepared are we when this issue rear their ugly heads? What are we doing? What mechanism do we put on ground to ensure that we address them headlong? If you look at the exercise this year, we were only able to delist one center out of 777. One only, because that was the only center that completely failed. We had, little challenge about 95 centers out of over 9,000 sessions. Session, that means that every day candidates sit exam 3 times in a particular center. So by the time you aggregate those sessions, we call them sessions, session 1, session 2, session 3, in the morning, afternoon, and evening. By the time you aggregate those sessions, you will have about 9,150 of such sessions that 250 candidates sat the examination. And out of all this, we only had challenges in 150 of these sessions. And only one center was outrightly delisted. That means they could not be rescued. So if you have exam in 777 centers across the nation, and only one center failed, I think it's a pass mark.
So what was done to these candidates in this center?
Those candidates in those 150 sessions were rescheduled. There are 1 or 2 of them that, yes, they could not be rescheduled and all this, but we're also looking at them because there are claims. People have been sending tickets to us, or we have a ticketing platform where candidates send their complaint. And before I came here, I've seen that there's 1 or 2 complaints that, yes, I was there present and stuff like that, but I was not scheduled for exam. We'll look at them. If there are candidates that genuinely, because for you to be rescheduled, you must first of all be present during the examination. If you're not present, what that means is that
you're absent.
You say you're not going to take the examination, and we're not forcing anybody to take the examination. But once you indicate, you appear, and you are verified, certainly you must take the examination. So we'll look at the totality of the whole exercise, and we'll find such candidates, we will definitely reschedule them. We are not, we cannot shy away, we are not afraid to say, look, in this particular area, yes, we have issues here and there.
We add here.
We add here and stuff like that, because we know that life is all about, looking back, putting yourself together, and moving ahead, and making whatever you are doing better than what you did yesterday. So we'll look at it. If there are cases like that, we'll reschedule those candidates to see the examination.
Now, another issue that, is worthy of note here is the fact that we had over 1 million girls register for this exam. What would you say to that?
Well, it has always been so, especially in the East. It's just of late that some states, I think in the West, are beginning to also creep into that statistics. I don't know why the girls are more. Maybe the men are busy looking for money here and there. In the East, what they used to say is that it is better for you to go and learn trade and then begin to make cash earlier, so that by the time you get to that age of listening, you would have been a billionaire or stuff like that. But I don't know what is happening in the West, and gradually, I think even the North is creeping in. So good for the ladies, at least. What a man can do, a woman can do far better.
So what will you talk about this issue of people saying that okay, let me use the word, to pass JAMB is luck? No,
I can't say luck. What selection examination has a lot of variables that is difficult for you to hold constant. If, for instance, I wake up this morning and they say, look, your dad is sick and I'm going for it, anything can happen, because it is not a true test of the knowledge of an individual. When you are taking aptitude, that is why when people talk about validity, that JAMB, we should extend validity for 3-4 years. And we begin to explain to them that, look, there are two different things entirely. It's just like NTA wants to recruit today. And you say, okay, there are 10 people, you want to take 5. Ordinarily, if you had only 5 people appearing, you would have picked all of them. But because you have 10, and you just look at it, what do I do? It's okay. Come tomorrow by 7 o'clock. Anybody that comes 1 minute after 7 is disqualified. It doesn't mean the man is a bad person, but that is the yardstick you have set. So examination, if you look at our name, is Joint Admissions and Matriculation Board. The founders of JAMB were not stupid. If examination was necessary, they would have added examination. Examination became a vehicle to ensure that you achieve what we call fairness, equity, so that somebody will go home and feel that, look, yes, I was given the opportunity, I did my best, and somebody, I was not picked, not because somebody's father, somebody's auntie, or somebody's better than me. So examination, what we do is a selection examination. That explains why once you finish for this year, you cannot use that examination for next year again. Even though we are still using some examination, that the 2022, 2021 examination, we are still using it up to date. By extension, or somehow, impliedly, we have extended validity of 2021 examination, 2022 examination, because admission for 2021 and 2022, some schools are still doing it because of the disruption of COVID, strikes, and all these things that we're trying to cover those gaps that we have lost in the past. But if you look at the professional way of conducting the selection examination, you cannot extend the validity. It's just for 1 year, and that is all.
Well, you know, another issue of concern, I would have wanted to pass through this one, but let me say, after going through the JAMB, you know, hassles, after you know, making probably above 250, you still go back to the schools to write more exams. Some of the students are like,
you see, if you look at the act establishing our tertiary institution, the senates of the universities, the councils of whether polytechnic or college of education, it empowers them to select the kind of candidate that they want. Let me give you a little history of JAMB. JAMB was not established by government. JAMB was established by the university. The then 6 universities, the first generation universities, they came together and said, look, we are beginning to have much more than we can accommodate, we can chew. What do we do? The spaces were shrinking. You know, JAMB started in 1970 something with less than 100,000 candidates. It grew 200 and all those things, and we're doing almost 2 million candidates now. So the spaces were shrinking and all these things. And a candidate could apply to 2 or 3 universities. And all these universities will give him space. We only take one, depriving other candidates of those spaces. And they came together and said, let's have a body that can help us coordinate this thing, control this thing. Just give us this thing so that the candidate we picked. And they came about, brought somebody from Canada, from University of Ontario, all those things, and they came about with what they call Joint Matriculation Board, and government just added admission. And that was how JAMB came into being. So what we are talking about is that, look, the universities, the polytechnic and college, they must have a say in who they admit. Because in the final analysis, if they admit a candidate and he's not doing well, it's not JAMB that they will blame. It's the university that they will blame. So if you say the university or the polytechnic should not have anything, a say in who comes to them, who they admit, it won't be fair. The law allows them to select their candidate. Even if you look at our law, it says in conjunction with the tertiary institution. So that is what we are doing. So the university can. But if you look at, based on the credibility we have brought to bear over time, you will see that some universities don't even do the screening again, the post-UTM again. Others will just screen their credentials and stuff like that to ensure that, okay, this thing that this candidate is representing, it is not forged, it is not doctored, like the Mesoma issue and stuff like that. That is what most of them are doing. And we are also helping them to ensure that, yes, whatever a candidate presents to them is genuine.
So there are measures on ground now to ensure that we don't have a repeat of what happened within Mesoma. And
a lot has been done. If you look at what we are doing with direct entry, that people are complaining that direct entry is slow, people are not registering, they are crowding here and there, because we discovered that there was a lot of corruption in the direct entry component of admission. You know, we focused on the UTME. We were just focusing on the UTME, and we left the direct entry component, only for us to discover that, man, everybody has shifted from the UTME because they could not write, they could not manipulate the system here. All of them rushed to the direct entry component. All manner of certificates were getting their way. You know, the diploma here, diploma from unknown school. They will come and buy the direct entry form, and then they get admitted into university for degree program. So we have focused, we created what we call NAPES now, that screens all the certificate. We send the certificate to the school validates the certificate, send it back to us before that candidate is considered to be is qualified to be considered for admission. So a lot of cleaning exercise is ongoing. In fact, because of time, I would have gone in detail to tell you what we're doing and all those things too. It is pretty difficult or even impossible for you now to use any force certificate to get admission into the entry because of what we are doing at the back end. And that is why you see, at times you can see QES, someone queue at some centers and all this, because whatever certificate you're bringing, we've only approved about 12 certificates that are acceptable for direct entry admission. And even those certificates, when you bring them, we must screen them. The institution must validate, the issuing institution. If it is a diploma, an NC, the College of Education or the university, if it's a degree, that issue that certificate must validate that certificate before such a candidate is considered for admission.
And one last thing before we go, did you have others, during this examination, was there any issue of computer literacy, talking about people coming from the rural areas,
No, if you look at the design of the CBT examination, there's nothing computer or literacy about it. If you can use a phone, all you need to do, the screen that you see as big as it is only for you to see the question and the responses. The key, you only use the letters. We have what we call 9 keys, 9 letters. A, B, C, the options. Once you read the question, the options are there. You have submit, you have next, you have previous, and all those things. And we make it simple in the sense that the letter carries the word. So that even when you're confused, you say, I want to submit. You now remember that, okay, submit should be S. You just go to S. Oh, I want to go to next. You know that, okay, next is N. You go to next. Oh, I'm in number 3. I want to go back to the previous. You know that P is there. You just click. So those are the letters that you just use. You don't need other functionalities of the computer and all those things. And what we do, once the candidates are seated, that's what we give time. If you look at the time we give, the time is for us to put you through, for you to settle down, acclimatize yourself with the CBT environment, so that you will go into the system properly. Somebody will brief you there, will tell you, okay, this is what you're expected to do. Once you can use this ordinary handset that you have, you're good to go.
Thank you very much. I've been talking to the JAMB Head of Public Affairs, Fabian Benjamin. Thank you so much for your time.
My pleasure. Thank you very much.
And thank you for being part of the program. Don't forget, Nigeria Today airs weekday at 7:30 p.m. on NTA News 24. You can also check out this episode and others on www.youtube.com/NTA News 24 Hub. Once again, thank you for watching. I am Ikaria Clinton. Goodbye.